There are a couple things you're going to need before you can proceed with the installation of InvenTrack. One of those is the FTP details for the host that you're going to be installing on. And the other one is a MySQL database. If you have not set up a MySQL database or do not have the FTP details, please pause this video before proceeding. This is part 1A of the Getting Started with InvenTrack series. Today we're going to go over how to install InvenTrack using our installer file. There's two ways to install. There's to install it manually by uploading all the files to your server and then manually setting the permissions and so forth. Then there's this nice easy to install FTP program that we have that will install for you and upload all the files and so forth. That's the one we're going to go over today. 1B will be installing manually. So we'll go ahead and double click that and we can get started. You'll see once you double click it, open it up. You may get a warning like on Windows 7. There's a warning that comes up that says you need administrator rights to run this file. Just click yes, then it'll go ahead and start the install file. So I've got the installation wizard started. I'm going to click next. Accept the license agreement. Click next. Then I'm going to install this on a remote machine because I'm installing it to my hosting account, not on my local machine. The only real reason you would install it to a local machine is if you're going to do some local testing and so forth before you've uploaded it to your server. So I'll keep install to remote machine checked and click next. Got my FTP server information here, so let's go ahead and put that in where I want to install. Now if I want to install it to a subdirectory, I go ahead and hit browse. And give me a list of my directories. I could just check one, hit OK. As you can see, it picks the directory, but I want to install it on the base directory, so I'm just going to keep that there and hit OK, and then we'll click next. Yes, I want to. Since the folder's not empty, it's prompting me and let me know that it will overwrite anything that's in there that's the same, so I'm going to go ahead and hit yes because I do want to overwrite. My install location URL is already in there. It should be populated in there. If your server gives that back to us. If not, you can go ahead and just type in the installation URL there. Click next. And then here's a brief overview of what's going on. This is good that we can see the FTP attributes. We can set the permissions. So this will set all the file permissions for us in folders. Go ahead and click install. And then now the FTP process will start. This can take a couple minutes to go through, so we'll just have to be patient and wait. As you can see, it can be up to 2 minutes. I have 1 minute and 48 seconds of time remaining, so we'll speed through this so you won't have to actually sit here for a couple minutes just watching this FTP up. Now that the FTP process is coming to an end, it'll do some testing on the files there, you'll see. Then it'll do some check the permissions to make sure the permissions are set properly. There's a README file. You can hit view, check mark that and hit finish. It'll open the README file. But it's also going to send you to open up your web browser so we can actually do the web portion of this configuration and install. I don't need to see the README file, so I'm going to uncheck that and click finish. And we will be taken to the installation and configuration web wizard. I'm going to go ahead and click next. We're going to do a systems check, and the systems check is going to make sure that we're running the proper version of PHP. MySQL is available, is in optimizers installed, the things that are going to be needed for this software to run on your server. As long as you have all green yeses here, you're good to go. So we do, and we're going to click next. Our license agreement. If you want to print this, you can just click right here and it'll open up the license agreement so you can print it out and go through it later. I agree to above license agreement, click next. And now we move on to our database setup. This is the database we mentioned earlier that you needed to set up before we started the installation process, because you will be needing it now. I have all my information saved here, so I'm just going to copy and paste it all in. Once I've copy and pasted everything in, we'll click Setup Database. It's very important that you click Setup Database here and not just Next. If you don't click the Setup Database, it will not install any of the tables or anything, and your installation won't be able to be completed. So we'll click Setup Database. Now this can take a few seconds to actually finish. It's going to set up all the tables. It's going to set up the initial configuration. It's going to make sure that the default data for your website has been entered into the database, and so forth, and which is going to allow us to put the information in on the next system settings screen. We have our database has been set up completed, and the configuration file has been created. So we'll click next, and you can see we have some basic data already in there. This will be in there, same thing you'll see when you're installing. You want to replace this information here with all of your dealer information and so forth. Select website template. Always you should select custom. The reason being is because when we do updates, sometimes we'll update the default, but we will not update the custom. So if you select custom and you make any changes to the website in the custom folder, your new changes will be saved and it won't be overwritten when we do an update. Put your main URL in here, should already be there, and your SSL URL there. If you're not using a secure certificate, you can take the S out like that, and then it'll just stay the same. We recommend that you do have a secure certificate installed for the credit application. Use SEO URLs, yes, you want to use those. If you don't have mod rewrite enabled, you'll click no. We recommend that you use a Linux hosting account and have mod rewrite enabled, so you can click yes. Results per page 12, that's our default, we just leave it at that. The base directory, upload directory, and admin directory should all be filled in for you. Now we want to make our initial admin account. Double check, make sure all the information's been filled in. It has been filled in. We will hit save settings. It's important you hit save settings and not just next. So we'll hit save settings. Your system settings have been saved. Your admin account has been added and activated. We can move on to the next step. The next step is our license key. So we're going to put who it's licensed to, and then our license key. Your license key will look something like this, InvenTrack, with a bunch of numbers and letters and so forth after it. You can get that from the client area. We'll click check license. This is actually going to install the license. It has been validated and it's okay to proceed. And now your installation has been completed for InvenTrack, and we can verify that by, we'll right click on front page here and click open a new tab. And there's the front page of the website that comes pre-installed with InvenTrack. This is a free template. There's no extra cost to you for that. And then if we click our admin login, we can log in with the details that we just generated during the setup process. That's going to conclude installing InvenTrack with our FTP program. I do encourage you to check the next segment, which is going to go over on how to add a vehicle to your inventory.